Hello and welcome back to the Liminal Branch Library, the archive in the seams. I'm your Archivist and Librarian, Mordio Crow. And tonight, we're back to Root Severance Payback. Episode 4, we're finally free of the mines. Yay!
And they called that a mine?
And who's finally free of the mines, you might ask? Why, it's Hambone/Milo in the center over there.
Howdy do.
Amasha/Ember all the way over there.
Hello.
And Nova/Miffy right here. So, when last we left our vagabonds, they were having a pretty peaceful stroll, all things considered. You know, the mines were escaped. You had a valuable hostage whom the company believed would return right to them. The group had made the argument, which your ally had agreed pretty easily to. You didn't take any convincing. That like, oh, if you guys pretended to force him, they wouldn't really be able to do anything about that. And he was like, yeah, you're right. I can at least take you this far and put in a good word for you. So, our vagabonds decide to head from Ironroot out of Eerie territory and head over towards the Marquise to Dion's den. After, a good bit of travel, you're finally beginning to arrive. So if there's anything you guys wanted to do before you got there, any conversations you've wanted to have, feel free. Otherwise, I'll bring us to the gates.
I think I'm fine. We're just going, going down the path we set out on, and I'm just strumming along. Or rather, keeping the beat on my tambourine.
Right.
I'm wearing my new clothes that are nice. I have them.
Yes, nice but not luxurious, because we learned how much luxurious costs last time.
Yep.
Amber's doing some new boot goofing.
All right. Well then, the path to Dion's den carves against steeper and steeper hillsides. The already towering redwood trees are raised higher and higher above the vagabonds on their journey until, almost without warning, you go around a hill on a curve and see before you the sprawling town. It's almost like a toppled bucket of water. Inside one of these very large hills, right, is a cave where buildings have, been built up and constructed, but spilling out of that cave is a sprawling, haphazard town.
Oh.
Now between... Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're talking about like a literal bucket of water.
No, not a literal.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yes, the
like
buildings
that,
are spilling,
Artistically.
It's artistically.
Great visual, very impressive and expensive shot.
Yes, we put a lot of budget into that shot.
Hope you enjoyed it, chat.
Between you and the town is something that is a little bit more of a recent addition. Something that began being constructed when the Marquise first arrived and appears to have been recently enforced. There's, a first line of defense, as it were. Nothing too intricate, right? Just some wooden fences, some sharpened sticks, along the path. A gate that can be closed, that stretches out into the forest on either side. And behind it, in the town, above the town itself, the natural growth, we'll say, of the forest, right? Like tall trees, small trees, underbrush, and the sort, has all been cleared away as that small mountain that the town is within has had its surface cleared, and now a bunch of evenly grown trees are all sprouting above it, with a deep red-purple color. But you have with you Killian Champenois, an engineer of the Marquisiate who was captured in the mines, and escape is probably a strong word for his current predicament, but he's agreed to go introduce you, or well, not so much introduce you to the guards as introduce the guards to you, so that way the guards do not view you with suspicion. So as you approach, you see the Marquisiate soldiers patrolling along the edge of this fortified gate, or along the top of it. As you approach, they're paying attention to you. Not many people are traveling on this road right now, given the situation, right? The Marquis and the Erie are at war. There's not a lot of merchants making this journey. But unless you three want to introduce yourselves, which you are free to do, your companion moves to introduce you and, have this interaction on your behalf.
I
We'll
would
see
allow
what
them.
they say.
Once you're close enough that you're in a little bit closer than shouting distance, right? Like the guards call out for you all to halt and identify yourselves, etc. To which Champenois raises his voice to reply. I am an engineer, captured with the loss of Ironroot, and these three managed to not only assist me, but destroy captured clockwork that the Erie were attempting to get functional again. They are friends, and I would tell you fully of what they have done if you will allow us to approach. The guards find that at least plausible and beckon for you all to come closer. The gate is opened. You can see on the other side of the gate, right? There's a tent encampment of Marquise soldiers where many of them are still nursing injuries from the defeat at Ironroot. You can see people who are still healing their broken limbs and such. Just sitting down on crates, or making themselves useful in what way they can. But there's also plenty of uninjured soldiers, either training or otherwise just sort of on alert. Quite the heavy Marquisiate presence compared to recent years for anyone who's been here before, but probably not too surprising. The guard call over some of their, intermediate officers, and Champenois summarizes the escape from the mine, the repairing of the tunneler, the destruction thereof, and also about how he cannot remain because, his father is still there. And so the officer that he's speaking to listens to his story, but insists that he stays for at least overnight so that they can ask about Ironroot's defenses, like that kind of stuff. So Champenois agrees to that and is in the midst of coming back to you guys and explaining, the interactions. Like, the soldiers do not view you with any suspicion. They're going to let you through just fine. All that kind of stuff. And as he's explaining that, I don't think it would be particularly difficult. Actually, I have the perfect shot. He comes over to you three to explain. He's like, all right, well, it seems like they find your deeds agreeable, and they're more than happy to let you into town. And as he's saying this, he's facing you and the gate, and the three of you are facing town, where you see a plume of smoke beginning to rise.
Alright, is this town big on bonfires or what?
A new pope.
It's Dion's den. There's a new Dion or a new den. One of the two.
It's
No.
a new Dion.
No,
They finally discovered it in their lab.
As you make the comment about being big on bonfires, Miffy, Champenois looks over his shoulder, and about that moment, one of the guards notices as well, and a bell is rung, and you see, moving with a unsteady and laborious, shifting of side to side, there are a few cats go by on a clockwork that's lumbering forward, a big, it's almost like insect-like, right? It has this huge, belly sort of thing, right? And then at the front, there's a bunch of cats hanging onto it as it begins to rush through the town, ringing its bell as the smoke continues to spread. At that, with the bell ringing, a short cat with long puffs, very stocky, a gray cap and paws, steps out from one of the tents and begins barking orders.
Don't you mean meowing?
Meowing, begins meowing orders. What are you all doing? Are you waiting for the town to burn down? Go, find them. They won't get away this time.
Arson.
I want in.
Yeah, yeah. Are we in? Son? Yes. Okay, let's go. I was like, hi. Sounds familiar to me. Let's go. Freight takes me back.
I was looking over the Scoundrel playbook, and a lot of it is very Miffy coded. So I'm surprised you're an exile, not a scoundrel.
It was because exile fit with my backstory pretty well, but also I was really thinking if I should take scoundrel. So I was planning on taking it always my next level.
Understandable.
I realized I hadn't moved us to the camp, so I'm trying to move us there now. But while it's loading, because it's taken a long time to load, what are you guys doing as all of these cat soldiers rush off into town to go deal with what you're probably correctly assuming is arson, and it sounds like this isn't the first time.
Are we just in the soldier area right now, or
you're in the encampment, but you've been allowed through the gate, and it looks like they're not interested in heckling you or even really they trust Champenois' word, right? So they'd rather just ask him questions than interrogate you guys. So
cool.
Yeah, so this
so fancy.
Wow.
If we're in a public area, I would like to do a performance and roll for adoring fans.
Oh yes,
When I first enter a clearing, I roll with charm.
Yeah, so in that case, I think you probably would roll it you can roll it now, yeah, because once you make it past the campment, you'll be in town properly, right? And so yeah, so I think roll it now. We'll take that once you've actually crossed that threshold in.
Ooh.
All right.
Nice.
So yeah, is there anything else you guys are doing here? Are you heading into town? Are you leisurely walking into town, off to peruse
I'm running
the
to the
shops?
fire.
You're running towards the fire.
I don't know if you're sticking around, Champenois, but thanks for everything. Bye.
All right, Miffy starts running off, I assume. So Ember and Milo, what about you two? Are you also hoofing it off towards the flames, or are you taking it a little bit slower?
I kind of sigh and just start pounding out a little higher tempo ditty on my tambourine as I follow Miffy towards the flames.
Are we keeping up with Miffy, or are we walking behind Miffy?
Try and keep her in sight, I feel.
So at minimum jogging, right?
Yeah.
Because I assume Miffy's gunning it over. All right.
Miffy's going towards an ice cream truck.
The sounds, the music. Can't you hear it?
My leg! The sounds, the music!
All right. Well, in that case, as you two are lightly jogging behind Miffy, as Miffy's rushing towards the fire, Miffy, you see leading the way. You see signs of those recent fires. Burnt carts on the side of path that have been cleared from the paths and pushed to the side. Buildings that are damaged, and you can see townsfolk clearing through the rubble to sift for what valuables remain. Behind you, though, and actually perhaps this music's a little too dramatic for what's happening behind you. As Milo and Ember are, jogging, mid-jog, Milo, one of the town's inhabitants, sort of steps out. You're going fast, not necessarily too fast, right? But they step out kind of in the front of you, and are like, "Hey, wait a minute! I know you. I know that face. I know that hat. Milo, I have a question for you. Have you been here before, or has this person seen you elsewhere?"
I feel like Milo does loops. Just walks the track of the forest. Goes around maybe hits everywhere once a year. Pace kind of changes, but yeah.
It's a brightly colored fox, a red orange, but her ears are even brighter than the rest of her fur, right? It's I remember you came through here before and did a performance, right? Are you doing that again?
Oh, I just rolled into town with some of my compatriots. I'll see how the quote unquote vibe is, but see one of my shall we say roadies, and I point towards Miffy, just tearing ass to get to the fire. Well, she just kind of up and left during one of our little tour around here. Just wished I had a leash for her, but
I'm picturing that meme where someone has that the tiny angry character on a leash,
yeah,
like that.
It's mean, Ember, trying to do that to Miffy. Just want to take a little bit of a load off now that we're in town proper. I turn to them you wouldn't happen to know any good public houses, would you?
Oh, well, if you need a place to stay, you can stay with us with my family. The main inn burned down in one of the recent arsons, so it's
terrible shame.
I mean, there's other places you could stay, but some of them they're not as nice, So, but we could house at least you and I guess your roadies.
Well, anything, even a straw mat is better than the hard ground. I appreciate you kindly. What's your name?
Oh, I'm Anadir.
Anadir, thank you very much. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, I can put it in chat for spelling. Well, there you go.
I still wanted to be Anadir, looks like you're on your feet. To me.
I know. I want to make that joke so bad too, but I'm not even here.
I just can't.
Miffy sprints back. Anadir.
Looks like you're on your feet to me.
And then zooms back.
Woo!
Back on your
Yeah. I can't say that to them. I don't say the on the deer part. I say, that's a beautiful name you got there.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm flattered. But should you find your roadie, or would you rather just... I don't know how long you've been traveling. We can head into the den instead if that's what you prefer. The den is how they say center city, basically. Not that this is a sprawling city, right? But that means the cave part of town, the main part of town.
Gotcha. I would know this because I've definitely been here.
Yep.
Well, I'd love to do that, but I just got to make sure our friend doesn't get into any trouble. I like to keep my feelers clean.
Oh, all right. I guess I could follow a little behind, but I'm not going to get too close to the fires. They're
Just wait right here, and we'll make sure Miffy doesn't find some petrol and add to it. I laugh uncomfortably, but I'm like, there's actual worry behind the laugh.
there's like a little bit of laughter as well, but also can see that you're uncomfortable. So it's like, I just invited these people to my house. I'm happy with at least one of these invitees, but the other one, a little skeptical now. Maybe regretting that one. But you did get a 10 plus, so I'm not going to redact it just yet.
Right?
Do you
That's
mind
the
if
going
I
further is
do you mind if I put the bird away?
Oh yeah, sure. All right, put the bird away.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right.
Okay. Was Ember like listening in
Yes,
to all this?
Ember, as you laugh awkwardly, will be like, yeah, we'll just get our friend and let them know we have a place to stay. And I'm sure that'll go over really well.
Yeah, we'll just touch base with her real quick, and then we can mosey on over to your place.
Oh, of course. But if just be careful if you go towards the latest outbreak. I guess it's it doesn't tend to just be the one spot. So
I'm sorry to hear there's some sort of epidemic.
Epidemic. I suppose so. I think this is the 5th fire in the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
Oh.
shame that.
Wow.
Who would just create wanton destruction, scarring the land like this?
We should go check on our friend.
Yeah. Your friend's putting the bird away. Stall for time a little bit longer. No.
Okay.
Okay.
How long has the have the soldiers been stationed up there?
There's always been a few in like a camp, but they really showed up in number, I guess, a couple months ago, maybe 2.5 or so. And you would know there's like, that coincides with when they lost Iron Root, right? Like they lost Iron Root. Not only did they retreat here, but they probably got reinforcements here as well, since this is the new front line. So it's like Iron Root's garrison, or what remains of it, is now here. The people who were originally in Dion's Den are here, and now reinforcements are here. So it's like suddenly got big real fast.
Gotcha. I don't know what the authorities have been asking or been telling folks, but they wouldn't happen to have a ID or some sort of idea who the perp may be?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't travel in those circles, but there's no secret that some people have been unhappy with the Marquise' presence here. I mean, there's always been some people who were unhappy ever since they first arrived, but until a couple months ago at least, it was pretty calm. People just kind of argued about it sometimes. Maybe you had the occasional person pick a fight with a soldier, but it wasn't anything like this. But she sort of lowers her voice because like a group of Marquis soldiers on foot run by. It looks like they only have the one clockwork that looked that way, right? That went past. So the rest of them are going on foot. So now they're like running by as well.
Are they carrying like water buckets?
No, they look more like they have like their bows and their weapons out. They look like they're on the hunt for.
All right.
My.
Yeah. She like lowers her voice and says, things have been getting worse with the Marquis ever since their defeat at Iron Root. They've gotten a lot stricter here, and there's been a lot more friction. I've mostly been keeping my head down, and it's been working out fine for me, but I guess the people who used to speak a little loudly before, I don't know. She sort of like trails off there. She doesn't want to accuse anyone of anything, but
I can see that.
Yeah, it's it's easy to be open-minded. Some people, they'd rather they be guilty before they're proven innocent. Just pays to keep them open-minded. But just between us three, and this isn't this isn't anything accusatory, but what do you think's being targeted? Do you think it's just anything they find, or is any particular group bearing the grunt of these arsons?
She keeps her voice low, even though the soldiers have passed. It's like, well, I'm sure the soldiers know, and everyone's been whispering about it. But every time there's a fire, it's always a big shipment of dusk redwoods that's being burned.
I thought you were going to say dust.
Yes,
You
it's
see-
a big shipment of dust. We
I
collect
mean,
it
it's
all.
very flammable.
It is very
see,
flammable. It's true.
Dion's Den is a very clean place, so to help dirty it up a little bit, we have dust imported from the dust mines. All right.
You just can't have it too pristine. Miffy, are you back, by the way?
No, I'm by the fire.
No, I meant back to your computer. I didn't know.
Yes, I said that earlier, but I guess
Oh.
you didn't hear me.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Or I didn't
You
hear.
should have asked Nova, not Miffy. Miffy wouldn't know.
You're
Yeah, you
right.
did
You're
ask
right. I did
Miffy.
ask Miffy, not Nova.
I'm by the fire. Jeez.
Where else would I be?
Okay, so I
Right.
turned to Onadir. I almost said Onadora, but Onadir is like, well, thank you kindly. I'm sorry if we were a bit overbearing there, but
Oh, no, certainly not. If anything, I think
Well-
the town could really use a performance at a time like this. Maybe diffuse the tensions, bring down the heat a little. She laughs
Yeah.
awkwardly at her own comment, but
well, I'll just make sure not to have it at a bonfire.
there's arsons happening right now.
As a Californian, I feel a special
Oh, dear.
kinship with this particular session.
Oh no!
So yeah,
Oh, no.
I said, well, we'll go catch up with our friend, and I'll meet you back here at least about say an hour.
Okay, yes, yes.
All right.
I'll meet you back here then.
Well, you take kind of yourself, and you keep yourself safe. We'll see you in a bit.
Yes, you too. All right. And then as you two start to run to catch up to Miffy, you've earned yourself a bit of a lead. Well, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do here? What's your goal?
I want to look for the arsonists. I want to find them.
You want to find
Want
him?
to fight them?
Need their heart,
feel their fire powers.
All right. Let's see. What we think? I think probably. It's probably reading a tense situation, right? So I'm picturing Miffy. You arrive at the edge of where the flames are the area is affected, right? The smoke's, rising into the air above you. Flames have leapt from there's carts, right? Like pole carts, which have lumber that are burning, and that it's got a nice smoky burn to it, which is really filling the alleys and the air. Flames have either leapt to or also been ignited in several of the nearby buildings, one of which looks like, I wouldn't call it a warehouse, perhaps more of it still looks like a storage area, I suppose, but it's not that grand, right? It's not a huge building, but one of them is fully engulfed. You can see the clockwork, which has arrived a bit ahead of you. The cats have jumped off of it, and it has a tube, and they're spraying water from the big bulbous center onto the flames. So Miffy, make your read a tense situation roll.
Oh, dang it.
Dang it.
I mean, it is cunning, so.
Yeah.
So here's what I think happens. Miffy, you're looking around trying to spot the arsonist, but there's so much smoke, right? You see and there's a lot of movement, mainly soldiers helping people get away from the flames. Something that strikes you is that you don't see a lot of people actually hurt. There's a lot of people coughing from the smoke and being pulled away, but you don't see anyone who's been burned in that sense. So it doesn't seem like it was it wasn't an explosion that caught a bunch of people. And as you're looking around, scanning scanning left and right, you think you see something through a window, the shape of someone moving. But before you can lean in, get a little bit closer look, the flames spread to the roof of that building, and it starts to fall, like covering that entrance. And then when the rubble and the ash clears, wherever that figure was, they've vanished.
Right.
What are you doing?
I can't see shit in these flames.
Yeah, so you saw someone briefly, and I assume Miffy might even like go in to be like, huh, where'd they go? Right? Like, you know, like to go in and like look around, but there's no trail for you to follow someone who, just disappeared. What do you do once you realized if this is the arsonist, they've evaded you?
Right. So it sounds like they weren't actually aiming to hurt people, right?
Mm-hmm.
This seems like perhaps this is, and they're setting on fire wood. Like it seems like supplies, right? So this is probably dwindling their resources or something, perhaps. Since
seems reasonable, yeah.
Well, the fire's still going on. Maybe I can even though the person has evaded me, can I still perhaps find the origin of the fire? Or if I can't do that, maybe I would
let me check your character sheet, because I think scrolling through here. I don't think you need to roll to determine the origin. I think that's probably easily deduced by where the flames are greatest. And you find something that your companions who are moving at least a little bit more slowly noticed. I described it to you as well, right? Like there were carts that were burned out on the sides of the roads before, and one of them's almost completely burned down by this point. It seems like that was what was initially targeted, and from what you can tell, it was carrying lumber, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if I can't find the person, then maybe I would step back angrily and like, dang it, got away from me.
Miffy, you step back angrily.
I don't think I can actually... Huh?
No, I was gonna say, you step back angrily, and then some of the Marquise soldiers, just like grab you and it's like, we gotta get you out of here, and just sort of like drag you away. mistaking you for a civilian. Yeah, it could have gone worse. I mean, keep in mind, the ones who just raced here were racing here on a clockwork, were in camp when you did just arrive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they got here ahead of you, but they saw you just get here. They're probably not suspicious of you at this moment, right?
I don't know Miffy well enough yet.
They're just like, this idiot went into the fire.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you gotta get out of there. So, so they're like trying to pull you out. Like they put you where all the other civilians they've pulled out are. Like, some people are pretty sooty. And they're like coughing. That shorter cat who was giving orders before has arrived as well. And he's continuing to bark commands towards his soldiers as well as towards the civilians, right? Like telling civilians to stay back, telling people like Miffy who are coming closer to the flames for one reason or another, right? Whether it's to...
Nobody likes a Rubbernecker.
Yeah, I mean, some of them might be like Miffy and trying to see the arsonists. Others might be concerned for family who's in the area, and some of them might just be looking in on the disaster because that's what's happening right now. But the cat is shouting for them to get out of the way. They're shouting for soldiers like, get those civilians back. I want them 3 blocks back. And as he's saying that, there's a bird who's standing. You didn't notice him quite at first, but there's a bird who's standing somewhat near to this commanding-looking cat. Squat, wide mouth, mostly.
Oh my god! Is it a frog mouth? Tawny frog mouth?
This is in fact a frog mouth, not a tawny frog mouth, but a frog mouth, with like a bunch of white patches scattered across him. He's got big gold eyes, and pretty much every time the commander cat says something, this bird repeats it, but in a much less authoritative manner, right? So the commander's like, get those civilians 3 blocks back. And then the bird's like, yeah, everyone, if we could calmly move away just a little. And like, you can kind of not quite hear him over the flames, just like,
Can we just get everyone away from the very dangerous flames a little bit, please?
you know, like those of you who have been here before probably know this figure. But this is Mayor Blith Nightsong, the mayor of town.
It's the mayor.
It's the mayor.
Mr. Mayor. Also, just real quick, I want to ask, are all the cats French?
Oui.
Oh. Merci beaucoup.
I mean, I won't say that all of them will be, but it will be the predominant thing that I attempt for the cats. So,
How do you spell the mayor's name?
C'est la vie.
no, I'll just drop it in chat. Mayor
Thanks.
Night Song.
Oh, this chat. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, the stream or the TTRPG
Hey,
chat.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah. So the mayor's trying to get people to listen. The soldiers actually get people to listen, and the crowds are moved back as the soldiers like fan out and search. You can hear the commander cat shouting, it's like, "Well, they can't have vanished into the ashes." Well, they cannot have vanished into the ashes.
Thank you for Frenchifying that.
You're welcome.
But not vanish into the ashes.
One of you must be able to find some sign of them, right? And so that shouting's happening. Miffy, you're pushed back with the rest of the civilians, and Milo and Ember, you arrive. You arrive and catch up to Miffy.
Now, I know you were with us when this started, but I just gotta ask.
What are you saying?
I'm
Huh?
I'm just saying, you know, where there's smoke, there's
I literally said with you guys, and I was in prison for like 5 days.
I know. Just
And you
want to make
somehow think that I have the power to teleport into a town I've never been in and start a fire? Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just kind of scoot a little closer to Ember for, if not comfort, then safety.
Pat Milo's shoulder. Oh, Miffy, we got a place to sleep.
Oh, sweet. That was
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, turns out Milo here's famous.
Shucks. I kicked it.
Wow. For what?
Dot.
Milo literally just did a performance to help you guys get keys to escape the mines like 3 days ago. Like,
Well, just McCander, I suppose.
Ah, that makes sense.
Ember's gonna be laughing behind her hand.
Well, we're done here inhaling some smoke. I suppose we better head back to where we're meeting our host.
yeah, so
Nice. I'm trying to find the arsonists that did it, but they slipped away.
You know,
Well-
they're usually pretty good at that.
Yeah, but I thought I don't know. I thought I'd be able to catch them, and that would have been real cool, right?
Now, Miffy, I don't take you for a deductive reasoner, but gotta ask, how would you have found them?
Well, and I like hush real quiet. You can say I have experience with these things. I just figured if, I was on the scene, I could deduce where they would have been, where they've gone, something like that.
Well, with your I look around the burnt out remains of wherever we are. I go, Well, with your experience, where would you say this was started, or how it went up?
You mean the one that we're in right now?
Yes.
Let me roll to find out.
Well, I don't
He
think.
rolls around in the ash, trying to get the ash's memory.
Well, I don't know if you need to roll. I feel like that's partially answered by what I said before, right? Like it was targeting the shipment that was loaded up onto the cart first, and then these like staging buildings, right, that were surrounding it. Pretty straightforward. At least that's the immediately apparent thing that you can see from outside, from leaning in from here. If you wanted more details or try to get more information, you probably have to go into the currently burning area, which the soldiers probably don't want you to do,
Yeah,
just from a public
probably
safety perspective, you know.
Maybe.
But you did pass several other places where things were burned earlier, if that's something you wanted to do. Just like, you know, go sift through. But like, as far as you can tell, Miffy, they were targeting these lumber shipments.
Yeah. I think I figured as much. So I'd say, well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious right here that they're trying to. This is their new front line, right? They're trying to get rid of all their resources. I mean, look at these cats. All they can do is build machines. They're not. I don't know if I've seen a single one that's good with a sword.
Well,
No lumber, no fighting.
no encampment, no infrastructure.
None of it.
Yeah, it's definitely trying to weaken its front line, I suppose. Well, if we're
Yeah.
done here, suppose we head back.
Yeah, and something that's relatively apparent to anyone who knows anything about either this town or like, you know, the process of like having like lumber farms. The top of the mountain that the cave's in, it looks like it's been converted into like a lumber production, right? Like they have all uniform height trees, or rather, you know, like here's section of this height, here's section of that height, etc. Right? Like they're doing a lumber growing rotation. So it does seem like they're trying to build up their lumber resources here, but someone certainly doesn't like that. So
And they're doing such a good job of it too. I can't believe they haven't been caught. They're definitely around here somewhere, maybe living in the camp.
Well, let's not go pointing fingers around here just yet.
Oh, I put away my fingers.
Hey, Miffy, how about we talk about this inside?
Yeah.
I think we might have some less, looks around at all of the soldiers.
Yeah. It's like you look around and also like the mayor's sort of like going up and down the groups of civilians like, oh, did anyone perhaps see anything suspicious that could be reported? And like starting to ask this, and then meanwhile a soldier is just like, did any of you see anything? Anyone out of the ordinary? Anyone who, you know, or sorry, once again, did any of you see anything out of the ordinary?
Like,
You can do it. You can do it.
You can do the French accent for the cat.
Yeah, I gotta keep remembering. It's like when I improv a character, I forget that they're supposed to be French by default if they're a cat, you know.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard.
Is it weird that there's a bird as the mayor? Or is that like, am I being racist?
You're being a little bit.
Voice in the sky, am I being racist? Or is that weird?
I think given the dynamic you are currently seeing of the mayor basically being ignored and the Marquis in charge, it doesn't seem that weird to have the mayor basically be powerless and be whoever,
Yeah,
right?
It's a puppet. It's a puppet officially.
Yeah, it's like this is the mayor, and there's the people in charge, right? Like,
Got it.
if-
okay.
anyone who's more familiar with this town would probably know it's like this mayor's been in control since the Marquis showed up, because is a little bit of a brown noser, right? But generally speaking, he's just kind of like a guy, right? He's just
a guy, just a little guy.
like he's not like, as far as the town's concerned, he's not like massively corrupt or anything.
Okay.
But like maybe the worst thing about him is that he's relatively incompetent. But-
Yeah, I figured.
Which is more or less probably why the Marquis just lets him be here, right? But,
Gotcha. I guess since we kind of know that he's just here,
Mhm.
and we know that more of the Marquis soldiers running the shots, it wouldn't really make sense to read the situation because we already know what's going on.
Yeah, you already,
At least in terms of that.
Mhm.
And if he's already like such a wimp, I guess we wouldn't need to get in his good graces at the very least.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
like wimp's a certain word for it, but I think it's less that he's a wimp because like he's here, he's by the edge of the fire, he's trying to be helpful, right? Like he's genuinely trying. He's just not
He's
very
not
good,
assertive.
right? Yeah, he's just not very good at it, but he's
Did he
trying.
even get elected?
Oh well, there hasn't been an election ever since the Marquis took over, so
Interesting. Okay. You know what? Hey, Black Sugar Pill. I'll at least talk to him. I'll go up to him. And it's like, you wouldn't happen to be the lordship around here, would you?
at being addressed by someone, there's like a moment of this frog-mouthed bird just like looking taken aback, and then just like that wide mouth, big smile, right? Just like the corners of that wide mouth tilt up a little bit. Oh well, the lordship is perhaps a bit much. I'm the humble mayor of this town, but that you've heard of me, I suppose, means I do have a little bit of a reputation. Oh,
It's
it's immediately apparent that you made his day by just
Sometimes
Someone
that's all it
talk
takes.
to me.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you trying to keep your citizens safe. Mark of a good steward to the public.
Yes, thank you. It's terrible times. Are you all right? You don't look ashy. You don't seem to be caught up in it.
Do I?
I do a little like brush up of like pretend dust on my clothes, or maybe real dust. Who knows?
Mhm.
And I go, "Oh, I'm perfectly fine. Just you got a real good fire brigade for you."
Yeah. Before the reply, just for Miffy's questions, Miffy, yeah, you're a bit ashy since you rushed in there and were mistaken for someone caught up in it. So you got some ashes on your nice white coat.
Oh, damn it.
But when you compliment the brigade there, Milo, the mayor nods. Yes, the lieutenants, engineers are quite resourceful. Would you believe that they constructed this in just a week and a half? It's a marvel what they're capable of. Though I suppose it is good that it made it to the fire this time. Last time it toppled a bit too fast for some of the corners.
Well, Forest Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to take that time.
That's entirely correct. The Forest Rome was not built in one single day. Forest Rome. No. But,
Well, if you need I just so happen to be a musician, or conter, if you will. If you need anyone to organize or just liven up your citizens, let me know. You'll see me around town. In fact, one of your fine citizens has helped us lodge for the night. It's got a real quaint hamlet here.
well, it's seen some better days, but I appreciate that you see the beauty in what's here still. Yes, some levity could perhaps go away to soothing things, maybe. I hope. Who are you staying with, just in case I need?
I believe their name was Anadir.
Yes. All right. I am not familiar, but I can find out if I need to. Thank you for offering your services. For now, though, I will resume tending to this incident. Be safe and enjoy your time in our town.
As you do, Lord Mayor, as you do. As are you, whatever the you two.
And also with you. Amen.
Sorry, I tried to do some Latin chanting, didn't work.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're good. All right. So, are you guys heading back to Anadir?
Still like early in the day, right?
You arrived probably like mid-day-ish, right?
Yeah. We're gonna pass some of the carts, right? That were
From
burned
the
out.
damaged ones, yeah.
We'll maybe linger a bit around them, see how they're charred out. Like Miffy, I know you got an eye for destruction. How process. You wouldn't happen to know how exactly one of these carts, I gestured to a burnt out cart, would have gone up, would you?
Oh, well, I would say it'd be pretty easy. Could probably do anything to light this place up. It's made of wood. All of it. Jesus Christ, as far as I can see. Or, Jesus, what's a funny animal name? Huh?
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. The real question, I think, is that who would have access to this? To all these places? Who could go by unseen? You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah, Biffy, from them just disappearing on you, you assume you're pretty confident. You don't just roll poorly. They must be at least mildly skillful if they've evaded you and the guard, right? Like,
yeah, we're talking real sneaky here.
I'm thinking it was a ghost.
No, I don't think it's a ghost.
Okay. Shadow Miffy leaves.
Bye.
Who said that? Was it you?
Miffy, there's no one but us three.
Oh, okay. That was weird. It's like someone was talking to me in my voice.
Yeah, it certainly isn't that. Milo tucks their how to be a ventriloquist scroll back into their breast pocket.
Ember pokes at the, charred remains, I guess.
Yeah, like if you back off a bit and you go to like, I don't know, one of the other ones, a pattern that quickly arises without needing to roll anything for it is that a lot of these look pretty similar in size and shape, these carts, which, to be clear, that sort of uniformity isn't really a common thing, right? Like, we're in an era where people mostly, you're building your carts yourself, or like there's some woodworker who builds them, and sure, they might
Like
be a bit
person.
consistent. Yeah, they might be consistent to themselves, but they're not supplying a whole town, right? Because they're, one person. So usually you see at least a little bit of, which implies that all of these carts either belong to or were made by the same person or people, right?
Cheese and rice, my god.
But if there's anything else in particular you're looking for, but I think you see that that pattern's relatively clear enough, and the fact that it's all lumber was, I think, stated by Anadir earlier. So
okay, yeah. So let's just go with Anadir.
Oh, good. You and your I almost said retainers. That's not the right word.
That is not.
No,
I mean,
you and your roadies.
As far as they know, maybe.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, if you want to come rest after that, it's not the best introduction to our town for sure, but maybe we can go relax. I can cook up something, like a nice Dion's Den special or something, and
No,
That
just
sounds really nice.
No, don't go out of your way for us. We're just simply
Aw,
looking to get a little.
that sounded good though.
It does. It really
I mean,
does.
if you were going to, by all means, we're simply very appreciative of your kindness today. This here, I point to Miffy. This is our key grip, Miffy Mouse.
Wait, what did you call me?
Miffy Mouse.
No. Like
Key grip.
Key. What's that?
Like they just set up the rigging really good. Even though Milo just like performs in front of like a field.
Oh, okay. I never heard that word before.
It's just for like union stuff you get.
Backstage crew.
Got it.
Yeah, and over here is our manager, Amber.
Grins.
Yeah.
It's
Just had to make sure. Well, you see, Miffy here. Miffy has a grip. They're a problem solver, and perhaps they were just curious to see if they could help out the kind folk with their time of need.
Oh, yeah, problem solver. I like that. That's a good title.
Well, it's good to meet you both. But yes, I can. Let's go relax and we can talk over some food. I went shopping and like she gestures to like one of the corner stores nearby. I went shopping while I was waiting, so I have everything I came out here for. So we can.
Oh, you're so kind.
If you need help bringing it in, just let us know.
Oh no! I just needed a few things. And she'll lead you towards the inside of the cave itself. Now, obviously, even though you do get some natural light from the outside of the cave during the day, but once you make it past the mouth, it gets pretty dark without lanterns and things. So inside, it's mostly stone and dirt with the occasional moss or mushroom on the ground, and then wooden structures that have been brought in. Mm-hmm. So you get led towards Anadir's home, where you're able to, kick up and relax. It seems like she lives here with a few siblings and an aging parent. After a quick introduction, it seems like maybe half the siblings remember Milo. One of them is like, oh yeah, I remember you did this, and names a completely it wasn't you musical performance. Like, that's not you at all. And that person's like, I remember you. Yeah, so one person gets it completely off.
It just so happened to be It Wasn't Me by Shaggy. Oh yeah, all right, I did that.
My favorite song of theirs is I Like Big Thoraxes and I Cannot Lie.
Well, that was just there on the featured track. That wasn't actually me. That was Lord Mix-a-Lot.
Well, okay, what animal is Lord Mix-a-Lot?
I'd like to say they are a wombat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But
so, what do you do here? Like, you always live here or something, or are you just caught up in everything?
Oh, well, I mean, I was born here. I've lived here my whole life. I've done a couple different things, but right now I work up on top up in the lumber farm. So a lot of people do.
You're a Jane then.
Oh, sorry.
A lumberjane.
Oh, a lumberjane.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I suppose so. I don't do a lot of the cutting myself, but taking care of the plants, helping plant them. They got different people for different jobs. Yeah. A lot of the town works up there. These days. Biggest business, I guess, the Dusk Redwoods.
Do we as a group know what in particular about Dusk Redwoods is so special? I mean, why they keep emphasizing Dusk Redwoods?
I think you as a group would know. Well, so anyone who's been in this region would know that it's like a local tree that grows faster, but not as tall as the other redwoods of the woodlands. Oh. Like the whole woodlands is full of redwood trees, but there's a couple different varieties, and dusk ones grow along this particular area, basically just this particular area. Elsewhere out in the middle of the forest, but nowhere near like civilization. This is the only place they're close to civilization. But as far as I think you'd be aware, Milo, is that they're just they're just rarer. You don't know why someone would want them, except for you suppose their color. They do have a vibrant color, so you can see the value in that. But to dedicate the whole top of the large hill, small mountainside to them, probably worth more than just their color.
Right? Would we know if they're the same type of wood that Champenois needed for his contraption?
That's one of those things where it's like you have that thought, and I think the answer is you don't know that for sure, but man, that would 100% make sense, right? Like
A hook.
It just the Marquise presence here, why they're digging in their heels so fiercely, right? Why they're so focused on growing these ones specifically. It would make a lot of sense if they really need them. And that would also make a lot of sense for if someone doesn't like the Marquise, why they might target such things.
Yeah.
So how's work up there?
Usually it's not so bad. Ever since a couple months ago, they've been really strict about everything, really, about procedures, about hours, about like even chatting on the job. They used to be pretty relaxed about having whatever conversations, taking a minute if you need it. But these days, hasn't been so good. I think they're still on edge from, just sort of doesn't really want to say the fact that they just suffered a major defeat, right? But it's like I think they're all on edge. I'm sure it'll go back to normal and hopefully soon. It's like she starts to say a time frame, but then feels like she doesn't want to, right? It's like, I hope soon it'll go back to normal.
Yeah. If they want to get along with people here, you'd think that they'd understand they need to get along with people here,
Yeah, you'd think so. But then someone's not helping by lighting all of these fires.
Hardly helps at all.
Yeah, like anti-help or something.
Kind of like
So you got any suspicions who it might be?
No.
Okay.
No, said in the most I definitely have suspicions.
can I figure them out?
I'll figure out Anadir. Let me
Yeah.
see. Let me just read the move again to make sure.
Or rather,
Yeah, I think you could roll.
well, actually, ask.
Although I suppose depending on what you want to know, you may not need to. Like, you may just be able to ask Milo, because you rolled a 10 on this fan being your fan. But it does depend on what you want to ask. If it gets like, real deep, maybe you'll need to like read them. But
Okay. No, I take a seat at whatever communal sitting area they have. I go, now, I haven't been much of a company worker, but when I do interact with these kind of folks, I know they raise a lot of scuttlebutt. They do a lot of, I don't want to say gossiping, but they do exchange ideas and theories. Just wondering, perhaps you had some thoughts or might have heard some whispers about the situation, about what's going on here. I don't want to impose, but
well,
what if you
look, I'm not trying
just
to
give us a broad idea of this?
Look, you've been here before, but maybe you didn't stay long enough. Dion's Den has had its share of subversive groups, underhanded groups, we'll say. It's pretty shady in here, and not just from the cave overhead,
I smirk with my mandibles somehow.
But I mean, usually it doesn't feel like it's any of the usual suspects to me. And at that, probably one of their siblings go, "What do you mean it's not one of the usual suspects? It's always the Red Paws." To which another sibling goes, "No one's heard from the Red Paws in years." To which the first sibling goes, "And that's why they're doing this to get attention." Right? And so you get that little back and forth.
Do they just like peek around the corner and say that and then peek back?
I'm sorry, I guess I didn't really describe the living space. I imagine it's a pretty like open like main room, right? So it's like there's the kitchen that then probably has like a step down into a big living space that then has like a step up into like a seating area. And then probably they only have like small bedrooms like crammed above it, right? And then like but otherwise it's like one big room on the lower floor, right? So they're probably milling about. Some of them are probably hanging on the edge of the conversation, not saying too much.
Oh yeah,
or just hanging from the rafters. Yeah.
So
Red Paws.
Yeah, they were a relatively well-known criminal group a while back. I guess when the war was at its worst, they kept supplies moving across the front lines. Something that the Marquis and the Erie weren't too fond of. And like that's Anadir's putting like the polite way. The way she speaks is almost like she's afraid that if she says bad things about them, they'll know, right?
She's right.
Yeah. But then one of the siblings says, "You make it sound so noble. They just stole stuff and then sold it at a markup." And then another one says, "Yeah, I heard that they robbed the mayor's place too."
Would it happen
I like
to be,
lean over to Ember.
Sounds like that would be pretty easy, to be honest.
Yeah.
She snorts and tries not to be too loud about it.
Milo sighs.
Yep.
Would that be Mayor? Milo checks his notes. Mayor Night Song?
Oh yes, the only mayor we've had for decades now.
Have you considered an electoral college?
Who? What now?
Pardon me. It's something you shouldn't be privy to yet. No.
It's an eldritch secret.
No. Sorry, these Red Paws are a bit of a five-finger discount shoppers, but they don't seem like they'd be the kind to set fires.
To that,
So
Anadir says, "Exactly." And then one of the siblings says, at the same time as Anadir's agreeing with you, one of the siblings says, "Unless they want to get their name back out there again," just like clearly just like throwing out theories because they've already decided that this is true, right? But they're just, and I mean,
comeback tour, of course.
Yeah. It's pretty clear that none of them actually know, but they're familiar with the history of the place, so it's hard for them not to speculate at least a little bit. Probably some other names come up across of it. Something that you notice is that a lot of the criminal group names tend to involve paws, claws, fangs. There's so it's just like there's like a running theme here of different criminal groups, and from what you glean is that Dion's Den has a proud history of one criminal group, rising up, and then a second one rising up, and then taking over from the previous one, or then there being like a scuffle, that kind of stuff. So there's always been that kind of like undercurrent here, but no one seems to know who the current players are, which is a little bit unusual.
These groups, when they're coming up, they let themselves be known, right? Like this is Black Fang territory or Water Feather territory.
I mean, generally, yeah. I mean, not like they don't go putting up signs or anything like that. Maybe they're adapting to the Marquis presence. I don't know, but usually here in the shade, you'd know if you were to venture into one of their territories.
Is it because they mark their territory with piss?
What? No.
Miffy,
No.
we're
It's
guests.
normal. Why are you
No.
looking at me like that?
That's
It's
for
normal.
that's for the lower versions of our species, okay? That we don't talk about.
Miffy's like, just you wait till we get to my hometown, then you'll see who's right.
Oh,
It's like,
Oh
oh,
not Pisser's Den.
Don't boo me. I'm right.
anyway. The conversation you were having, though. Yeah, it sounds like criminal groups come and go. But yes, usually you would expect them. But it also sounds like in the past, a lot of criminal groups are built around, things like smuggling in rare alcohols or, jewelry theft. And again, usually often from other clearings to sell here rather than from within the clearing. Clearings are a little bit small for criminal groups to rob and sell to the same clearing for the most part, with the exception of, stealing from like a company or like a lordship where maybe they have things that are valuable but not easily not one of a kind, right? But anyway, yeah, that's
Okay. Okay, so Arsonists in town. A lot of people seem to think it's perhaps one of the previous criminal groups rising back up, but that does not seem to be the case.
Well, how long has it been going on again? I forgot if we said it.
I think it's been 3 weeks.
about 3 weeks or so.
Have all the fires happened outside the den?
Yes, thankfully. Could you imagine this place filling up with smoke? That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they haven't been caught yet or looked at, identified.
Which is why I'm saying it has to be someone experienced, says one of the siblings.
Well, I don't disagree with you, little kid. What's your name?
Hold on, let me look at my list of random names.
Oh no! A name!
This one's Miriam.
Oh.
Big, fluffy
Miriam.
face. Very round.
Oh.
Very round.
We're gonna move on that, Miffy, or?
Well, I'm just saying I agree. But everybody's saying no. I'm just saying he evaded, or he, she, they avoided me, and that's pretty hard to do. Now, don't look at my roll.
Hold on. What?
Don't look at the roll I did. I'm saying it's very hard what they did.
Wait a minute. Miffy, you saw them?
Well, I saw something.
You saw someone behaving suspiciously and then vanish. They didn't appear to be a soldier and they didn't appear to be a civilian, so,
Yeah, unfortunately, not too many details other than that, because otherwise maybe I would say something, try to find this find this creature. But no, nothing. I'll get them next time, though. It sounds like they. Oh, I know. What's the next place you think they're gonna hit? Tell me.
I mean, it's no secret that they're hitting the Dusk Redwood shipments, but I don't know if they don't have enough of them or if they're picking and choosing. They haven't hit all of them. But if you keep your eye on the lumber moving, so they haven't actually hit the farm itself, thankfully. She says with the relief of someone who is kind of worried that they will attack her workplace while she's there. But they haven't done it. They've so far only been attacking the shipments.
Only once they're already like ready to go.
Yeah, why wouldn't they get it at the source? You think? That's strange.
Sounds like somebody wants to interrupt the line.
Now, not to question your chain of command, but Who's running the lumber company?
Oh, it's basically just run by the Marquis. They pay very generously to the town and to the workers to keep it all going smoothly. So.
You don't have a name or a face to go with the head honcho?
Oh, I see. It's the local commander. What's his rank again? She like rubs the side of her head. I think he's a lieutenant. His name is Minuet. I think it's something like Charles.
Well, perhaps we should ought to talk to old Chucky Minnow at some point.
Chucky Minnow. And when she says the rank and that name, you remember someone said lieutenant at some point, like at like earlier today. Like you heard that rank said before. So
Yes, I did.
if you had to remember, there was that one cat giving orders.
It's true.
Well, I appreciate you entertaining us with these silly questions.
No,
Now,
of course. Before anything else,
Question
though.
though.
Oh, what was that?
Has this mostly been in broad daylight?
The attacks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Confident too.
Mm-hmm. Confident, and I mean, Miffy, in your experience, it might be a double feature, right? They're destroying something they want destroyed, and they're sending a message, right?
Yeah.
dinner and a show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to catch this guy so bad.
But before the conversation continues, Anadir is like, well, I'm done with food for now, though, so why don't we eat up? I'm sure you're hungry. And for that, she presents a local dish, which is called bear steak. It's not really bear, but it is, in fact, there's not a lot of meat eating in the woodlands, just in general, right? I suppose perhaps maybe some fish or something, but like, you know, most of the things you would eat meat from are in fact sapient, so you're not gonna be doing that, right?
Yeah.
But this
So we're not in B-Stars.
no,
We're
we're
in
not.
Zootopia.
But this beef steak is actually, or bear steak is actually a mushroom that is said to resemble, you know, it's like, oh yeah, back in the, you know, in the legend when they killed the bear, and then some of the legends say they ate the bear. Some of the legends do not say that. But you know,
Is it based off of beefsteak mushroom?
beefsteak tomatoes, are you thinking?
Oh,
of?
it's tomatoes. That's right. They're tomatoes. Never
I mean,
mind.
there are
mean-
mushrooms that taste like meaty too.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
this is a very meaty sort of mushroom, you know, classic with like some sauces, some root vegetables and similar. So it's a pretty hearty.
Root. Ding, ding, ding.
We said
All
the
right, end
title.
session. We said the title. All right, goodbye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
No, all right, I'm back. All right.
Okay. Oh.
So, you have a bunch of information. It does feel like, as far as like current goings on and suspicions, you're probably not going to get much more out of Anadir, but you're free to ask any other questions about town. But like when it comes to the incidents, probably gotten all she knows really.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys eat
Amber
up.
really likes the dish.
Yeah. And actually, I'll say that anyone who does anyone have exhaustion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say
still
that
have some.
this good meal in like a hospitable home, I think, would clear a level of exhaustion from everyone. Just because, like, oh, you're being
Right.
treated as guests, you're having good conversation, they're giving you good food. You know, it's a little bit relaxing. It's vitalizing.
Yeah.
I want to know if I potentially have any like. See, I guess I'm trying to do a D&D thing here. Like, do I have any contacts in this local area?
I mean, you said before you've never been here, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I'm just like throwing it out there. I'm just making it up as I go along. But no, I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say is like, I don't know if you have a. Let's see. We could. If you want trust fate, just roll luck. And if you succeed, perhaps you do know something, but it will probably come with a complication. Yeah, and also I think that's more of like a worlds without number, stars without number thing than a D&D thing. But
Is it? I thought there was like a like thieves guild. Oh, you're you're a rogue. You're in the thieves guild.
I guess that's true. I was thinking of the connect skill. You literally have a skill that is know people as the skill. In that system, which is
what am I
think
rolling?
fun. If you want to roll this, then you would roll trust fate. I think. I guess you're not really going through trouble, so maybe just roll luck.
Oh, okay.
Roll luck instead.
All right. Oh man, all my bad rolls.
Yeah, that part where you said you haven't been here before?
Yeah, I haven't been here before. I don't know.
Not only have you not been here before, but when like stuff was coming up that was like talking about this town, you were probably focused on your own tasks, identified like, that place over there? I'm not going there. I don't need to know. Right? It's like, I'm going to focus on what I do need to know. And that's what you did. And now you remember thinking that.
Okay.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard that there's criminal groups here and you've operated in a criminal group capacity, even though, and you hear that they had territories in the past, right? So even if no one's actively throwing down their territory, you could always go looking, right? See if you could find them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What would I do for that?
Let's see. I think. Let me look to see if this is this a roguish skill or is this just a reading a thing? Let's. Roguish feats. Let's see. None of those. Then I suppose it might be. It's not even reading a tense situation or figuring someone out. Feels a little bit more generic than any of these, if I'm being honest.
So that's luck, right?
No, that probably means that it's not a roll thing. So I think in this case, what that means is if you want to go out there and spend the time looking around and crawling for the underbelly, then you can do it, and you're confident you'll find it eventually. It's just a matter of time, right? It's like, if that's the way you guys want to spend your time, then yes, you can do it, and you feel like you will find them, probably within a day or two. You'll find at least someone, I should say, right? Not necessarily the perpetrator, but someone.
I probably would do that unless we have like a plan, or if you guys are just trying to relax, or you want to interview people. I don't know what's the feeling here.
Ember would like to sleep at least one night peacefully in a house.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you guys. What's that, Milo?
I could go on the prowl for trouble.
I mean, yeah, if you go on the prowl for trouble, that's fine. But if you find trouble, then Ember will not get her wish to sleep peacefully. Or Ember does, and the party is down a person. That's also possible. We just keep cutting back to Ember sleeping. So that's the. So I guess that's
called
the thing.
Tension.
Yeah, you are allowed to split the party. We did it during the escape, right? But
Sure did.
Just be on the same page about it, right? If one of your characters is turning in for the night.
Yeah. Can I go to on a deer and go? And I'm remembering that name because I'm thinking on a deer.
Oh, I'm glad it's memorable.
Yeah. You wouldn't happen to know any public houses, and if so, are there any ones that are of a particular ill repute?
I mean, like I said, the nice one burned down recently, but she could list off several ones that are technically, here in the den. But prefaces each was like, oh, I wouldn't go there. It was like, oh, there's this one, but I wouldn't go there. Like that
Which
kind of.
Which one is the most ungo-thereable?
Most ungo-thereable. That's a great question. Probably one that's all the way like, the den is allegedly an old bear's den, right? Like, natural cave, etc. But there are a couple parts where it splinters off, etc., where in some cases buildings have filled in the gaps, right? So there's probably one that's like tucked into one of those crevices. What's a good name for it? Probably No Way Out, right? Because that's like when there's no way out. So probably that one.
Interesting.
It's like, don't go there because, well, if something goes wrong, you now have to go through the trouble to escape. You cannot escape in any other direction, right? So.
No, we're not folks that rustle up trouble. In fact, I think we're kindly sort. Who could ever hate these faces? And I put prop my face next to Miffy's and I smile.
Yeah! I smile and it's very scary.
That's the effect I was looking for.
A shudder through your host. As once again, she reconsiders this at least a little bit.
Feels like one of those stuck on an island with One Direction fanfics. The ones that go bad.
What?
You've ever heard like those like stuck on an island with One Direction?
No, the one that I've heard is My Mother Sold Me to One Direction.
It's, I think, an offshoot of that genre.
Got it.
Where happenstance, a plane or a boat or whatever
Yeah.
goes down and you end up on a deserted island. And guess who else is on that deserted island but the band One Direction?
Huh.
Yeah.
The internet does mysterious things. Speaking of mysterious things, I assume... So are we resting or are we going to this shady place?
I turn to Miffy and says, feeling a bit parched?
Oh yeah, I could go for a drink.
Yeah, so if Miffy will allow, let's go to one of the public houses of ill repute.
Yeah.
All right. Ember, are you going to or are you staying to rest?
Oof. I feel bad splitting the party a second time, but I'm not sure.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think Ember will go along and be like, okay, let's go for a little bit.
Just a little while.
Hour at most. One drink maximum.
Like hard cut. Chug.
I do
And it's
have
Ember.
glutton in
No,
my
I'm kidding.
nature.
Yeah, well, these might be the sorts of places where you can pay a little bit to indulge in such things. You find No Way Out. I don't want to say easy because it's actually not very. It's like once you go past the central portions of the den, it starts getting darker. The lanterns get thinner. It's like it's nighttime, even though you are in fact. It's still like late afternoon, early evening, right? Like you still got daylight hours, but it's quite dark here. And standing at the door or outside the door, there's this sandy yellow fox with dark ears who just like watches the three of you approach.
Evening.
Is this like the bouncer?
That seems like that seems like the general positioning. Does not have the physique of a bouncer, but
Alright.
What brings a couple wanderers over this way?
Oh, just looking to wet our whistles and raise some spirits.
And you come all the way here.
We
Oh,
heard
yeah.
this was the place to be.
You gotta really go in to get past all the tourist traps.
A place to be, huh? Who'd you hear that from? This isn't the kind of place that someone just wandering through walks up to.
Well, why is that?
A fox looks at Miffy closely. Because we don't advertise.
Well, it must have been word of
Is
mouth.
there not a sign?
There's a sign here, yeah. But you guys
Like-
were clearly coming here already, right? Like you were coming over to this.
No, like a sign outside the place.
Yeah, outside this building, sure. But I was just going over how it's kind of a pain to find it because of how dark it is, you know, and how out of the way it is. So. How smug can one rat be? Great question, Beryl.
You have not even begin to plumb the depths of how smug this rat can be.
That's mouse to you, Miffy Mouse.
But yeah,
You say that to
this
them.
I ain't no rat.
this fox seems skeptical of your purpose here.
Well, you have to look for information in strange places, you know?
Do you say that to them?
Yeah, I was right
Yeah.
here, right?
All right. I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't have laid that card on there yet.
They don't believe us, like...
Listen, we're looking for the guy who does the arson. Does anyone do the arson around here?
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was
Okay,
gonna say... Shut up, Milo, let me talk.
Oh, information. Hmm? All
Well, I'm
right.
just wondering if you are, serve in good company? Wink?
And
The company?
Miffy, you don't say wink when you wink.
Oh, sorry.
Just do it.
Oh, okay. I do it
Also,
like really
it's got-
big.
It's also got to be the eye that's facing them. You did it with your back eye.
That guy, what the hell?
Like the eye that's furthest away from the person.
Oh my gosh.
I'm facing right at them. Which one's the back one?
Not both of them, just one.
Okay.
Gotta like lean into them to do it.
Ah,
Not like
gotcha,
physically,
gotcha.
like
All right, let me try
You know
this
what?
again.
you know what? Just say wink. That's you're good at that.
All right. Wink.
well, if information's what you want, I guess you are a little bit closer to the right place. But listen, we don't know you. You just got here.
Well, best way to make friends is to break bread. So why don't we take out a loaf and we'll start sharing.
He also plays
Yeah, I think-
music.
I think you are onto something. The best way to make friends is to
You know,
hold out a hand.
Break?
Some money, please.
Oh, the money.
Do we
Yeah.
have money?
We
Yes, someone would need to mark off a value if they have it. Or if not-
I take one of the little doodads I procured from our last excursion and hand it to him.
Okay.
Value of 1.
Yep. All right. Take that.
How's that for a fine loaf of pumpernickel?
I like that.
Well, I think it gets you in the door at least. We'll see what happens after. That they knock on the door, and then it opens. They don't follow you inside, but once you're in, it's a very odd-shaped building, right? Because it's like in this crevice, so it has the wooden front, but then the walls are stone and appear to be the natural walls, and so it sort of like twists and turns back, getting narrower as you go further back into it, with the occasional like additional wooden wall, which it's hard to tell because like doors are closed, if that's like another like crevice crack behind it that's either like a storage room or perhaps a room to stay or similar sort of things.
I like the vibes. Vibes are good.
In here, there's a handful of tables, most of them empty because even though it is like, late afternoon, early evening, that's still relatively early to be getting your drink on, right? For a lot of people. And so most of the tables are empty, but at the bar, there is a handful of folk who are already talking with one another. But then when they heard the knock at the door, very clearly have all gone silent and turned to see the group.
Okay. I walk up to the bar. I go, howdy do, fellas. Hope you're having a good night. I take a seat on one of the stools.
Milo, you start walking over to the bar, giving your greeting, when one of the figures sitting there turns around, looks over each of you, stands up, and then walks. Probably not walks, probably not quite runs either, but rushes a little bit past you, Milo, as you approach. It's like, Ember, what brings you home? And Ember, you see your mother is here.
What?
Hi, Mom!
It's
I didn't expect to see you here either. What a
Oh my god,
surprise!
we didn't have to pay. We could have gotten in.
You don't know that.
it's Ember, your mother, to those of you, or rather to Miffy and Milo, you can see the resemblance in that Ember's mother is of a similar sort of red fox, though there's a little bit more of a gradual transition from the orange red to the white than what Ember has. It's a little bit more of a wider, smoother gradient. She has, and then her mother has darker splotches in a few places. But she seems she has this smile on her face, which is I'm excited to see you and excited to find out what you're doing here, right? But she greet you with a big. Is your family a physically affectionate family, or yes? Okay, so that means there's going to be a great big hug. It feels like it's been ages, dear.
Just a year, Mom. Thank you.
A year is so long for a parent, especially when you're at your age.
Which is
And then it cuts to outside where I don't know, a bird goes and then it cuts back. Years old.
oh, right.
Clearly.
So what have you been up to? And what brings you to this hole in the wall, as it were?
Well, I've got some friends.
Hello there, Mrs. What's your last name again?
I don't think I've made one.
You don't have to have one. Also, not everyone has the surname.
I don't think so.
Mrs. You got a real good daughter here. Very swift, keen head on her shoulders.
Mrs. Ember's mom.
Oh, well, my name's Carmine, but I suppose you could address me that way. It does seem a little odd, but...
Oh, Carmine, that's just fine.
It's good to meet Ember's friends.
Yeah.
Seems
Hey,
you've got
Mom,
a bit of
I brought you a present. I
There's
wasn't sure if I'd see you or not, so I just picked something up for you.
There's a little gasp that's probably not entirely on purpose played up, but at least a little bit, right? A little gasp with the paw in front of her mouth.
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah.
What?
We were just over in Ironroot recently and had some adventures there, and I picked you up this really neat necklace. And hands over the necklace.
You hand over the necklace, she holds it up, turns it around, admires it. Over in Ironroot, and you came recently, so you came straight here from there. I'm sure with security being as it is, this wasn't an easy pickup either. And she puts it on. Well, thank you, dear. It's lovely.
I'm glad you like it.
I always did appreciate the crafters of Ironroot being so close to their material. I feel like they really do hone their skills. And while some here might turn up their noses at feathers, I think that the Eyrie can't claim all feathers. There are birds outside of them. It's still a wonderful design. You said you were up to an adventure. Well, do tell.
Yes. Actually, if you could help us with some information we're working on, I would be happy to spill the beans.
Some information? Most likely. I do have my ears always open.
Of course. So, we just got here recently, and there's been some fires going on outside the den.
Ah. So you're here to talk about exactly what we were talking about, she says, gesturing to the others at the bar. As this is said, you probably at least vaguely recognize one or two of them, Ember. Not to, maybe you know one of their names or something, but, not someone you'd be particularly close with, but you recognize them as, yes, this is one of my mother's friends, right? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So...
Oh, I see. Well, then, yeah.
Yes, we've been... Someone's been on a hiring spree recently, or a recruiting spree, I suppose. There's not many left here but the old guard, really.
Really?
And they clearly have the funding and the supplies to be effective. At that, one of your mother's friends says, honestly, it's been a tragic time.
Nod sagely.
Yeah, to which your mother says, yes, very few interested in keeping the wholesome traditions of this town alive. Well, what has you looking for them, I wonder? Don't tell me you've grown an altruistic heart.
She giggles. I mean, I just figured it was interesting that the first thing I saw when we came into town was a fire dealing with, the Duskwood. But outside, and I thought you had gotten out of things,
Oh, I mean, it's not our handiwork, that's for sure.
I figured not, but just wanted to poke my nose into things. Because I'm curious, and that's weird. Not that I'm curious, but that things are happening. Also, it's been going on for how long?
It's only been about 3 weeks now, but those of us here, we could smell that something was up a little bit earlier than that. And that, one of your mothers says, or one of your mother's friends says, yeah, my grandson started exhibiting some of those sorts of behaviors. You know the like.
You mean what? Altruism?
No. Some of those sort of disappearing in the night, having some new shoes, a nice knife that weren't there before. As far as I heard, there hadn't been any recent rash of anything going on. And at that, one of the other foxes says, Yeah, that's the odd thing about it. It's a bunch of folks who all of a sudden had nicer things, but usually you hear stuff going missing and then other people having those nice things. So where did it all come from, I wonder?
Wait, hold on. This is out of character, but I'm using Miffy's voice. Are they saying that it's just like normal, everyday people just setting fires and getting money in return?
No.
No,
Okay, what's happening here?
Talking about how people are getting nice things, but nobody is losing nice things, and usually they need to.
Right.
Oh, but not in
Like-
exchange for anything?
Well, I think the implication is more some people may have in the olden days there may be criminal groups rising up, but they rise up by stealing the bootstraps off of other
Mafia!
folks, right? Yeah, they
There you
Mouse
go.
the
Yeah. Meanwhile, this group seems to have noticed an uptick in people sneaking out to do shady things, but whatever they're doing, they're not thieving from anywhere nearby. And certainly with the way the roads are locked down and Marquise at control, they're not going to other towns and coming back with this stuff. So, Ember, your mother would sort of summarize. I think also that whoever's doing this isn't adhering to the old territorial contests. I don't think they're entirely local.
Huffs.
No, not saying we're not saying that their membership isn't at least mostly local, but wherever this is coming from.
Now, you happen to get a good look at these newly acquired goods these kids are coming home with?
At that, remember one of your mother's friends who had mentioned the grandson was like, "Oh, don't you worry. I went out and followed him one night, and as far as I can tell, it's being shipped in for them. I saw a little meeting of theirs. Doesn't seem like they have them in the same place twice, but they got some way of getting the message out."
Could you tell if they're genuine or they simply a facade, a one and done, if you will? The goods, I mean.
I think they're genuine enough. And Ember, your mother, would say, and I think the recruits are too. There's been a lot of anger in this town recently. A lot of people not happy with the Marquis. You want our opinion? Someone's trying to inflame the tensions here.
I see what you did there. That's very funny.
A little bit of a smile. Oh, I thank you.
This one, I like this one. She seems nice. Also, I think this is just the plan from the first Ninja Turtles movie where the Foot Clan is recruiting kids to steal stuff.
I've never seen it, so I'm not
That's hilarious.
plagiarizing it. But I cannot confirm or deny, I suppose, since I haven't seen it.
Yeah, they have like a little hideout where they play arcade games and use their stolen TVs.
Amazing.
You know, we were just trying to figure out where they might have their next meeting and if anything, we should do about it. Like you said, we're not really in the game anymore, but, you know, we want to make sure the youth of today are not being worked over by someone.
We want good, honest, hardworking thieves and scoundrels.
Yeah.
Homegrown, grassroots scoundrels. Grassroots! Oh my god, we said it again!
All right, end the session. It's like, or at the very least, someone who's setting these fires of their own accord. Though, They've been careful not to cause any serious casualties so far. But
They're also
There's-
quick.
Like a small child could be quick.
Why is there's voice that keeps using my voice saying things?
Miffy, I think maybe you should get some sleep after this.
Yeah, maybe.
We didn't mention, but Miffy's like 6 in since we got in here.
yeah, I'm sure you guys are not being exorbitantly charged for the stuff given the circumstances. So you're given drinks as you're talking and chatting.
Glug, 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 glug.
Chug,
Well-
chug, chug, chug.
Well, Ember, if you're interested in this little group, perhaps you and your friends would be better suited to go listen in on one of their meetings than, well, any one of these old fools, she says, gesturing to her companions, who then return to rib her back, right? But,
I think that's a good idea.
And that the same friend who's been talking about the grandchild is like, from what I can tell, they're going to be meeting again soon. Either tonight or tomorrow night. And I think I know what the place is. If you three wanted, you could head on over and hide out there in advance, or I don't know, maybe try to blend your way into the crowd of recruits.
Stakeout might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you guys whether you want to go. They know a location. It sounds like, whatever this group is, they're still trying to recruit, right? Just a lot more covertly than what often happens. So, up to you if you want to try to be more on the lookout stakeout or the social stakeout of. I guess it's not really a stakeout of going in, but yeah, whatever your approach is, let me know what you prefer, and we can go to do that.
Well, I'm glad we can get the info.
So it's like they're implying it's young people who are being targeted with this this sort of crime wave, or like being like coerced in this crime wave. No, if we're young people. I mean,
I am.
yeah. You know what? I think we can just like slide in, because I think Miffy and Ember are young enough, and Milo is an insect, so they wouldn't really know what their age would be. So yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so if that's the way you want to go for it, sound good.
Yeah.
We're gonna pretend to be recruits.
I'm down.
All right. I'm not hearing any dissent. All right, so then you get sent to the location, which, as far as you can tell, they've deduced via a mix of eavesdropping on some of the youth who haven't quite refined their inside voices enough yet.
Yeah, so we're gonna meet by the big tree that's right outside the den.
And also, they tell you a symbol to look out for, which is specifically a claw mark made with ash.
Okay.
So that's sort of like, they have the general area, and then like, you use these claw marks to actually find the exact building, right? Like they'll lead you based on like the slash direction. They'll lead you the way. And so
That's good.
the biggest I don't want to say problem, like the biggest concern here is just like, you guys kind of have to hang around. You don't know the meeting time is the biggest thing, right? So it's like, okay, you can find the general area, you can start to see the claw marks, and then you just kind of have to awkwardly like hide, but not too much, until you start seeing other people filter in or anything like that, right? So do you have anything you guys want to do to prepare? Like, are you putting on any particular disguises? Are you just going in as yourselves? Or are you?
I take off my hat and little coffee filter ruffle thing around my neck, kind of stow it away. Also, I was really hoping the symbol was going to be a cool S.
Nope, none of that, unfortunately. But
I keep forgetting you're not me, so you wouldn't put stuff I would put in my Space Kings campaigns.
yes, unfortunately, we are not the same person. So, you
Yeah.
know.
Damn.
Yeah, I
But
think Ember continues to wear her nice outfit
Mm-hmm.
because her home outfit is possibly recognizable here.
That's fair.
It is, if going by what Nova put in the chat, it is a very nice outfit.
Mhm. All right, so you wait around until you start seeing people. It's another area that's sort of like in the edge of the den, right? So much like No Way Out. It's sort of tucked away. It's a lot darker. People aren't being particularly hidden because by the time they're here, there's not much around, right? Like there's no marquee patrols that can really see them. There's nothing of that sort. So most of them are just like walking out in the open, making their way in. You blend into the groups, like, you know, not quite following, like just following one, but at some points leading by looking at the signs and finding yourselves at an old rundown, abandoned, you know, tavern type of place. In there,
Of course.
Yep. In there, there's maybe like, somewhere between 15 to 25, depending on when you get in there. So like a solid 24-ish people. Most of them in their late teens to mid 20s by the looks of it.
Quick thing, before we go on, I need to get some water real quick.
Oh, yes, you're right. And it's also 2 hours in. Let's take our 5-minute break right here.
Hey.
Break.
Yeah, they're offering refreshments here for everyone who attends. So while you all take those refreshments, we're going to break. Be right back.
Let's go to the lobby.
All right, and we're back. We're back. Your characters had their refreshments as they came in. We got ours as well. As you filter in, again, you probably show up when there's around a dozen, and then, you know, some more filtering around you, get up to about 24 or so people. Something that's immediately apparent is like there are little clusters of people forming. Some people chatting who clearly know each other. Like, you know, chatting in a group off to one side. Other people sort of like stand around and look at the others, either not saying anything, maybe looking nervous, or maybe looking excited. But there's a variety of emotions and, you know, present here.
Did we accidentally stumble into a prom?
You know, I can see the visual similarities, for sure, at least at the moment. But unless there's anything you guys want to do immediately while people are filtering in, I think when the meeting starts, it will pretty quickly distinguish itself from a prom.
Yeah, I'll wait till someone speaks out.
So, like there's a few minutes of like idle, maybe not like relaxed chatter, but like, you know, hushed whispers in some places, before there's like a thump, and then someone comes up from behind the bar, and like there's like a heavy like boom of like a door opening behind the bar, and coming up from behind it is a fox, a gray and black fox with really big ears, narrow, but pretty like looks pretty built. He surveys the assembled crowd, who goes quiet when he arrives, and a couple others come up behind him. What denotes each of them, there's like 4 of them, is that they have these little scarves that have that same symbol, those same ashen claw marks on them. The fox speaks. It's a good crowd tonight. Our numbers growing with every meeting. To those of you aspirants who've returned, welcome back. And for... He looks over the crowd, and you see him doing a little counting gesture, and you get counted as a part of this too. For those of you who are new, welcome. I don't know all of you, and you don't know me. But I think we all know the Marquise. And we all know that we haven't really been free since they got here. Oh sure, when we were younger, they were giving us money for what we had, and we led them. We let them put their soldiers here. We let them clear the top of the den. But do you notice, I'm sure you've all noticed, how quickly things change when things go bad for them. Those same soldiers who were so willing to offer us good coin before are now telling us what to do and when, and they're telling us how much we're going to get for it. Too many have grown comfortable here with the Marquise. It's time to show them that Dion's Den was founded by a fighter and continues to be populated by them. So aspirants, let's see which among you, and then he cracks his knuckles, are worthy of joining the Ashen Claws tonight.
Oh my god, are we gonna brawl? Are we gonna brawl?
That seems like what it's going to, right?
Oh god.
He's gonna fight the new recruits?
It doesn't seem like immediately himself, but he does sort of start separating the groups up and getting people, it's like he'll go up to one and be like, you, when was the last time you fought? And they'll give an answer. Some of them do feel like they have a history of scuffles. And like you heard from Anadir, yeah, people have gotten in scuffles with soldiers before, but usually it's more of a personal level thing, right? That guy fights that other guy, and one of them happens to be a soldier. At least that was how she pitched it. But it sounds like some of these youths do have at least a history of brawling with the soldiers in the past, right? Some of them do not. And when asked directly of what their experience is, depending on their answer, this fox will lead the questioning down different ways, right? If they're very skittish, might try to guide them in another direction. Be you hear him say, look, you all need to be able to defend yourselves, but that doesn't mean all of you need to fight all the time. We need more than just fighters. We need people who can move. And when he goes to say this, he says people who can move nimbly, quickly, and he will jump up onto a broken bar stool, and then from there grab one of the ceiling boards that's falling down and hang from it for a moment before jumping to the windowsill. We need those of you who can vanish from a scene without a trace.
I elbow Miffy when he does that.
Hello?
Look familiar?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it could be any of them, but yeah, he's got the moves.
Mm-hmm. From what you can see, or what you can tell from the conversations happening, is that this leader fox and then the three others with the little scarves, they're the only actual members of this group. Everyone else here is trying to become a member, and what this meeting basically is is it's not just a test, but it's also like a training session, right? So from talking about those who are repeat returners, they're now already starting to like square off and like either practice just like
Is this Fight
in the
Club?
air. It's a little fight clubby, if I'm being honest.
Oh my god,
like they
we're
are
in Fight
fighting.
Club.
Some like no one's gone like heavy in the brawl quite yet because we're still in the early stages, but some of them have sort of like partitioned off and like they're doing warm-ups. They're like either stretching, doing push-ups, jumping jacks, throwing some punches into the air. Some of them are probably starting to square off like with their friends and like taunting each other in that like friendly we're gonna fight sort of way. So what are you three doing during this stage? Are you trying to like impress the leader? Are you trying to integrate with the other aspirants? What are you up to?
I want to fight.
Miffy blends in with the fighters or makes an appearance as a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just hang by Miffy and just kind of observe.
All right.
Ember is blending in.
All right. Ember's blending in. Miffy, you want to brawl? Are you just brawl? I assume you just pick someone who looks ready for a fight and then just start scrambling.
Like look around, point at someone, you, and then I just like fisticuffs, like bam, bam.
So
but I turn on my coat around. Time to go blood mode.
God.
How much is Miffy? So Miffy, like you can obviously see there's a range of skills here. Are you going for anyone? Are you picking at random? Are you going for one of the least prepared, one of the most prepared? What do you?
Anybody who looks kinder prepared, I'm going for. If I beat them easily, I just like one punch. Oh, not this one. Punch the next one. Oh, not that one. Oh.
Is that you knocking them out or you having no effect on them with your punches?
I assume I'm better a fighter than these guys, but you let me know.
Yeah, so what I think I want you to do is I want you to roll engage in melee, but we're not going to be, no one's going to be trading harm, like really, right? Like you're not actually inflicting harm on these characters. Well, you are, but like we're not tracking it, right? Like we're not playing this out like an actual brawl, right? So this is more for you, like how do you do overall? And I think just like on a miss, you might have some consequences of maybe underestimating someone, but otherwise,
Yeah.
So
I do okay.
Yeah, you do okay. So here's what I'm going to say. You do exactly that. You do okay. Like you probably pick a fight with the first one and it's not quite a one shot, but like there's like a brief scuffle and you manage to, win the exchange. You call out another one and it's the same thing, but like a little bit longer. Like some of them, you get the sense probably have been practicing for at least the past month or so, which granted that doesn't compare to you, but they're like, their style is very what's the word I'm looking for? They're a lot. All of them are training to be pretty dirty fighters, right? So like they have their tricks, they have their pocket sands, they have their other things. So
I have that.
Yeah, you have that one. So it's not too surprising that like even though they are fighting each other, like there's some of them are able to get in like a quick little like a hit or that one or two here or there. So what I'm going to say is with your weak hit, Miffy, I'm going to let you choose.
The highest of weak hits.
The highest of weak hits. I'll say I'm gonna let you choose from two outcomes here. You can impress the leader at least, like a decent amount, right? You're doing well. You're a solid performer. Or you can mark exhaustion as you just like lay into multiple. Like you just really go ham, and you will have a significant impression left. So it's like the difference between noticed you and you're near or at the top of the list, right?
Okay.
Depends on if you think that's worth it for you to mark that exhaustion. So.
It's probably not worth it, but I also kind of want to do that.
Up to you
Up
and
to you.
Miffy.
Look, in RPGs, you're allowed to say it's probably not worth it, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's an RPG, you know?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll
Right.
take an exhaustion and just like bloody lip and just like keeps going.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm co-sponsored by Duracell.
Damn.
You, maybe after like the fourth one that you brawl with, you know, you got that like a little bit of blood dripping. The fox comes over to you and you finish the exchange. You take a good punch to like the gut, like, or I guess like, you know, just the base of the ribs, right? Get that like wind knocked out of you sort of feeling. But you, Miffy, you've felt worse and you push through it and you take a swing and win your bout, right? Which the fox like gives an approving nod. You then like sort of like draws the crowd's attention. You know not just how to throw a punch, but how to take a punch. And that's also an important skill we're all going to need to have. Just like how not all of you are going to need to be frontline fighters, but what we're doing, you might find yourself in a situation where you need to fight. And some of you might think that you can never fail, but that's wrong. There's going to be times when the Marquis gets a drop on you and they get in a hit. And what this one's doing, like gets close to Miffy, right? Being able to take the hit and keep going.
Yeah.
What did you say? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, praise me.
Well-winded.
What's your name?
Miffy Mouse.
Oh, Miffy. What grudge do you have against the Marquis?
They were born.
Oh my god. I do want to dig deep here. Can I find any reason like that I might not like the Marquis? For example, my reputation with them is good right now because of one cat, but like, have they ever employed company stuff?
Oh yeah. If you check the map of the woodlands, you'd see that like there are places where. Oh, actually, no. I guess there's not. I was gonna say No, all the company places are mainly in the Eerie ones because the Eerie rolled really well during the setup phase and controls a good chunk of the woodlands. But yes, the Marquis do trade with the company.
Got it.
Like
I'll probably say like, they're friends with the wrong people and not the right ones.
Damn.
With the wrong people, but not the right wrong people, the other wrong people, you know?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you keep it suitably vague, right? Just like you don't like what they're doing.
Angry and vague.
I think that is so. I guess my question for you is, how genuine is Miffy's anger towards the Marquis? Right? Like, does Miffy actually hold a grudge against them for that? Like a strong one?
No, I don't think so. So I think what it comes across the most is that Miffy just wants to fight.
Okay. So I think
Like, I don't know if this fox could see that and be like, whoa, take it easy, man. Or it could be like, well, okay, I'm gonna ignore that because I can use it to my advantage, you know?
I think I'm leaning towards the latter in this case, right? Because you just seriously impressed him, right? So he nods and says, well, as an Ashen Claw, you would have the opportunity to bring the fight to them. Of course, we're not looking to go to war with the Marquis. We don't have delusions that a handful of people fighting in a warehouse or fighting in an old tavern can stand up against that entire garrison. But Dion's Den was able to defend itself from the Eerie for a long time before it fell way back when. This cave is a fortress if we let it. All we need to do is give the Marquis a tough enough time that they realize it's not worth the effort. And I think someone tough like you could go a long way to convincing them of that.
I do want to ask though, because originally it sounded like he was talking to the crowd. It sounds like he's just talking to me now, right?
Yeah, sort of zoomed in on you a little bit. Like, talk to the crowd, gave the thing. Some of the crowd went back to the thing. Some of the crowd's still listening to the exchange. But, you know.
Well, I'd love to hear more about your strategies. If there's a scrap, I'm there.
Well, I'd say you should stick around tonight when we're done with this, when we're done with this meeting, stick around. We'll have some, strategies that we can discuss. I think you'll find them pretty fun.
Well, I potentially have some friends with me. They're not quite scrappers like me, but like you said, not everyone needs to be that. I think they could be of value as well. I could talk to them.
Friends, huh?
Yeah. I got them.
All right. Sell them to me. Their skills, I mean, you know.
Wait, hold on, Miffy, hold on.
Sell me on their skill. I'm not trying to buy your friend. I'm trying to tell me.
What's wrong with us? We're not good enough?
Oh my gosh.
Well, where their skills lie is distractions. And I think you could use a lot of that.
Yeah, I think there's some value to be had in a distraction that, well, isn't our calling card one at least.
And they've also got it in a variety of ways. They're both different in how they do it. So you got a lot to work with there. Plus, I know them. I trust them.
Well, we can include you all in the conversations, I think. I think we have something we could work together on. Do a bit of a collaboration.
Well, all right then. See you later. Do you have a handshake or something?
No.
Like a chest bump or like a wiggling of fingers?
I mean, maybe we should.
I
Calls
think
back
you should.
to the other ones. Like, we probably should once we're... Like, right now, we all know each other's faces, but, like, once we're a little bit bigger, and it's like, yeah, that's true. We should probably have something once we'll think about it. They're like, yeah, by the time we have a few dozen, we'll probably need something, so...
Do you have, like, a merch table for those Ashen Claw scarves? They seem quite spiffy.
A merch table? It's like, no. But, depending on the outcome of our conversation later, maybe we can get you one of your own. So, you guys have your inn to hang out for the strategy conversation at the end. By the time all the fights have played out, it's now pretty late, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're talking like in the early AM.
Oh God.
People start filtering out. Aside from you three, there's two other of the fresh arrivals who remain behind with you. And then of the four with the scarves, three of them leave before the night's over. Like, they sort of filter out gradually over the course of the time, until just the one you were talking to, Miffy, is left. So with that crew, the three of you, the two other newish recruits, and the potentially seems like the leader, right? You all settle in around one of the tables, one of the rotting and falling apart tables. All right, I think we can trust each other enough, at least for names. I'm Otis DeLond.
Otis. Gotcha.
And
Milo.
Ember, I assume, what, are you giving your name?
Ember? Masha?
Sorry. Does he look local?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for not my name. How about
All right.
Cinder?
Use one of your siblings.
Cinder.
Remember.
That would be awkward. I'm Cinder.
And the other two introduce themselves as well. Alright, well, so here's the deal. Now, you're all here because you have some grudge against the Marquis. And you're all here. You probably know that we're the ones behind the recent fires.
Anybody got a wire? They just admitted it.
Does Miffy say that out loud as a joke?
That was a joke.
Yeah, okay. The Ashen Claw's goal is simple. The Marquis is mainly here for two reasons. Because it's a defensive fortification, like I said. Worst case, they can hole up here in town, or here in the den. And then they could wait out an eerie siege for months. Granted, wouldn't be a great series of months, but they've got the supplies to make it last, and there's some mushroom farms in here. They could really drag it out if they need to, wait for reinforcements to arrive. Don't know what would happen to all of us locals. He says, while looking to the ones who he sees who he assumes, or like maybe the ones who have been here a couple times, so he knows that they're locals, right? He's not so sure on the three of you, right? Especially because, Ember, you've been traveling a bunch, so yeah, he's just like, if it comes to that, if the Eerie gets here, Marquis isn't going to be protecting us, but they will be using this town to defend themselves. You can count on that. As for the other thing they want, well, that's obvious too. They want the dusk redwoods for their machines. So, I think we can do both at once. The more we can destroy all this precious lumber that they've harvested, that removes their material incentive. And if we can do it enough that the populace loses confidence in them, then it's hard for them to defend a place when every citizen doesn't like them.
Now, I may be a bit of a newcomer here, but if I'm not mistaken, to the west of you, there's more Marquis.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, the Eries have taken Iron Root to the east, sorry. Cardinals are a bit wonky. Right now it seems you're a little bit of a sandwich, and more so a pickle. Suppose you do drive back the Marquis, what's to stop the Erie from swooping in? No pun intended.
The same things that push the Erie out, right? If we can be a fierce enough threat to deprive the Erie of the Marquis of the resources here, then we can harry the Erie enough to make it not worth their time.
Here's actually a little bit of intel for you. Says someone from the outside.
What's
The
that?
Erie in Ironroot, well, they've got a cat under their control. So they have someone who can work the machinery if they need to. And granted, it's slow, but I think it's only a matter of time until they also learn the secrets of the cats, and they'll be looking for the machines are building their machines too, and you might be a prime location all over again.
All the more important for us to be strong on our own. And like he does the like slams the fist on the table, right? Like, look, we have something valuable here, and right now we're just letting the Marquis take it to make themselves stronger. Yeah, they're paying us some paltry sum. But if we controlled our own town, then we could sell it to both of them at the price we decide is right.
I like it. I know you want to be strong. I get that. But are you able? Are we able to battle as 22 people? To fight against that? Like, do we have any weaponry on our side? Can we also build these things? Just the questions.
Can I have one?
Building the clockworks is a
yes,
little...
other Miffy?
Well, no, we can't build the clockworks. But we do have access to supplies, weapons, armors, accelerants.
What's that? Is that drugs?
No, that means that things that you can use to make
drugs.
fires spread quickly.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know Miffy was a narc.
No, I think Miffy wanted to know if there were stat boosting drugs.
Oh.
This could be like Disco Elysium.
Okay.
I mean, every political game is Disco Elysium if you squint enough.
I mean, there are voices in Miffy's head at least, so maybe she's playing it.
Apparently.
But yeah. So, look, you're right. We can't fight them all, and this garrison's too big for us to take on in a direct battle by far. But they have a lot of injured. They really rely on these shipments. But the thing is, they need more than just Dusk Redwood. If it becomes too costly for the Marquis to stay here and defend this, they'll retreat and go protect their other investments. They'll head back to Milltown or something.
Is this leader very young also?
Yeah, relatively so. Cannot be much older than 20 at most.
Gotcha.
Look,
So what you're looking for right now, more of attrition with this sabotage, if I'm picking up what you're putting down.
it's a war of making the people of this town understand that the Marquis can't even protect them from a few fires, let alone the Eerie. The only people who can protect them is themselves. Set a few more fires, ruin any semblance of the Marquis' defenses, and we're going to have people lining up to arm themselves. You know, just in case.
What about the mayor, though? Is there any way... Maybe if you had a stronger mayor, this would all be a little easier, too. I mean, the investments, yeah, they'll go away, but... Again, we're talking about things happening again. I think you should also think about changing out the mayor here. While we're doing this whole rebellion thing in the first place, you know? Add it to the list.
Have we mentioned the mayor, how we hate him?
You met this well-meaning but somewhat incompetent mayor for like 3 minutes, and it's like, let's depose him.
He's ineffectual. What am I...
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
obvious from the 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
We don't live here.
And
I
probably-
didn't vote for him.
Otis would say something along the lines of like, yeah, it's no surprise that we definitely need to replace the mayor, right? He's only been in control for so long because the Marquis likes him, and they only like him because he was the one who sold them the rights and like gestures up. He said he was willing to sell the top of the den to them so they could have their farms. Like, he hasn't done anything practical to, you know, be a good mayor.
Has he used some of those funds to help with infrastructure and public services?
I don't know. He opened a library, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty
Yes.
good. I mean, we could use more libraries.
Sure,
They're
but
free to the
is-
public.
Yeah, okay, we could use library. The fox looks a little bit exasperated. It's like, yes, okay, we could use more libraries. They're free to public. But the point is, he sold the entire town.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Ow,
I'll
for
put
that.
up to maybe a vote. Maybe you should. What you need is a city council, then a vigilante espionage force.
What we
wait,
need is the Marquis to be gone. Then we can decide
Well, maybe
if
the
it's going to
city
be a
council can
council or a
decide if
new
that'll.
mayor.
Wait. Have you thought about this? Now, let me preface this with I'm down. I'm down with what you're saying. I get it. But have you also thought about becoming the mayor?
No.
Have you thought about a coup?
There's.
I mean,
the long
Miffy,
no is definitely a yes, but he says no, but it is a yes.
Well, you know,
he,
it's just
he says no. I'm just like, no, don't lie to me. You thought about it.
Look, all right, I know that I am lacking in many of the skills that a mayor probably needs. But you know what a mayor needs more than those skills? Backbone.
I agree. And so why aren't you the best choice?
Right now, I think I might be.
You know, maybe. I mean, if you can get together all these people, maybe you can like start a union. I mean, I don't know if the mill has a union, but perhaps you know, you could start there. You know, grassroots and work your way up, and then maybe you can be mayor.
Or, and I like go on to the other side of his shoulder. Or you could just take it by force. Because that's what you're doing anyway. I'm just saying. You could be mayor. Not only... Look at all the people that you're encouraging. They need someone like that, don't you think?
I mean, I've sung a song or two about a fighting mayor.
I love
Although
this
I've also
visual.
sung a couple songs about fighting the mayor. But you know, it goes either way most of the time.
I love the visual of the two of you on either shoulder, and him just being like, maybe I could be mayor.
Why shouldn't I be mayor?
I find this so funny.
I
We
am
come
the
here
mayor.
infiltrating, and we end up convincing this guy to go for mayor.
We end up convincing him to go even further, actually.
Oh my god.
We invite a new political party into the town.
You know? Like,
Sure, if
I mean-
you're gonna go public quite yet. It sounds like we're almost there. Just a few more
Recruits.
accidents to happen, and then the cats, the Marquis get pretty what is it? They don't like this investment anymore, and that's when you, the new mayor, swoop in with your new party that you just established.
Your New Deal, if you will.
We'll call it the brand red deal. You know, like for the wood.
mm. It's not a bad plan.
Or if you
That's
don't want to
exactly-
be mayor, we can make you king.
I don't think anyone's gonna take well to that here. Just
God.
saying.
Suddenly God King here. That's
Or maybe
I
a
mean, when it comes to-
Buba, or
When it comes to
Burgermeister?
practically speaking, all of these titles do mean the same thing, you realize, the ruler of the town. But, you
president?
know, I feel like calling myself the king might encourage the Marquis or the Erie to come after us a little bit harder, right? Like,
Oh, now you don't want to wear the crown. I see how it is. All talk.
where's this crown?
there's
You just
never
wanna-
been
you
a
just wanna
crown
put this
here.
in your song, don't
It's
you?
it's the metaphorical crown, like the metaphorical we.
Oh, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The mayor, then.
I do like your
Okay.
spin on this, though, right? So, as I was saying, our plan was to cause a series of incidents in order targeting what the Marquis values about the town, in order to make sure the people see that the Marquis can't protect them. This isn't a trick. The Marquis cannot and will not protect them when push comes to shove.
Now, have you have you heard of a little bardic tale from the Marquis called Les Incredibles? You see, there's this part where this evil man he sets up a situation for him to be the hero and garner the favor of the people through a series of covert operations, a false flag, if you will. Now, it didn't work for him, but I think it might work for you.
Wait, weren't you also the ones just suggesting that we should play it up and be like, come in with the part? Wasn't that just literally one of your suggestions?
I missed what I missed what Milo was saying. What's the alternative plan?
No, it wasn't alternative. I think Milo was quoting The Incredibles, or rather summarizing The Incredibles.
Milo, are you getting like swept away in your stories again?
Listen, sometimes these antennas pick up more than air fluctuations. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah, let's.
No, but
Yeah, I'm fine with disposing someone, putting someone else in charge. I'm fine with that.
yeah, I think you're onto something. Our plan was to cause a bunch of these little incidents, build up some unrest, and then do one big one. Really drive home the unease, and then start spreading that call for people needing to arm themselves. But what if we do what you suggested instead? We have one big one, and then I sweep in. And like you can see like the smile on his face. I sweep in, and I say exactly what I've been saying here, that these incidents prove that the Marquis can't protect us, and that we need new leadership in this town. Call for others to join me, and if the Marquis comes after me, well, the Marquis attacking a young local in the middle of town who's calling them out for their incompetence, it's sure to get more people on our side. So either they acquiesce, or we turn over the job of making the people unhappy to them.
I think this is shaping up to be really good. Just you need. I think that we should have some what do they call it? Assurances. All right. Now I think you've convinced everybody who's helped you out here that you're the right person and that this is the way to go. But if anybody else finds out that you're the one starting these fires, well, I don't know how keen they'd be in having you be mayor. So, what you need to have is
We need to frame them. We need to frame the actual mayor.
You need to frame someone, is what I'm saying.
I'm thinking the mayor, the current mayor, not you.
I don't know if
Mr.
people would. I don't
Future
know
Mayor.
if people would believe that though.
I don't think so.
Believe me, it's always the unassuming ones. I kind of gesture towards Biffy for some reason.
Well, there have
I
been
don't
rumors.
disagree with you there, but I think we need to have at least some kind of reason.
Well, a lot of people
True.
have been assuming that it's the Red Paws come back. We could always try to blame it on them.
Perhaps.
Isn't that not their usual thing, though?
It's not, but if people are panicking enough, they might believe it.
But would they come back? Would the Red Paws actually come back and hear that they've been framed? Like, are they too dangerous of a group to blame it on?
I mean, they're from what, 15, 20 years ago? They must be ancient by now.
That's not Ember's mom's group, is it?
I think Ember's reaction tells you all you need to know.
Well, I mean, hey, if you actually like side huddle for a second. We're trying to brainstorm.
Yeah, sidebar real quick.
We gotta share the brain cell for a second.
Okay.
Ember, but your mom is actually out of commission, right? They wouldn't care if you told them, right?
I never put anything past her.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
There are other groups. But also, what about the Marquis? Why can't we just, like...
Well, that
What
doesn't
is
make
Eerie?
sense. Why would the Marquis sabotage themselves?
The Eerie.
The Eerie, maybe.
Well, that's true. We can blame the birds. I'm not sorry. That's
Okay.
the GM saying that, not any NPC. Just for clarity, they're not eavesdropping on your side huddle.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you have a bit of a parcel that you acquired from Ironroot not too long ago?
Which one?
Well, it may be in your mother's hands now, or rather,
No, the
around
necklace?
her neck. Unless you have a certain other one. That would be a good little plant.
I mean, I got more than one.
There we go.
All right. For the cause.
Okay, so the idea is that we have something from Ironroot that is specifically jewelry for birds.
Mhm.
And we plant it and say it was the Eerie somewhere sabotaging.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, and so you break your little side huddle and present this idea.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we don't want either of them chilling over here, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea right now is just get Marquise out of here. Although, to be fair, like right now, Marquise kind of like they're not too mad at us for anything. Like we're making our way to their favor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would help. If this is the faction, would it just be the denizens, or is it just?
So right now it would just be denizens in control, but theoretically, if you build up these Ashen Claws enough, they could become their own faction, right? Like, you know,
Ooh.
that's
Okay.
probably over a longer time scale than just like,
Yeah.
you know. But
Next few
this-
sessions. Yeah.
this is the sort of game where it's like, oh, we could take an interlude where you guys spend a few months helping them, or just like, you know, spend a few months doing something else, and now they're a faction, right? Just like, I don't know. That's
Okay.
something that could happen, but
Okay.
yeah, certainly if you kick the Marquis out, it'll be controlled by the denizens for now.
Yeah.
Sort of like how in the north west of the map we have Ashenborough, which is controlled by the denizens.
Mhm.
So anyway, all right.
What do you
so
think, Otis?
I think it's a perfect plan, and all we need now is an incident that really captures everyone's attention.
Mm.
And for that, there's only really two possibilities. Burning the farms above,
Ooh.
or bring the fire to the den.
Mm,
And I think
that-
that's probably the
Oh,
ominous
no.
line to end on for the week, since we're almost done.
Wait, no, I got
Oh, you got one?
another ender. I got another
Okay,
ender.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay.
Either way, we got to get to the root of the problem.
And everyone
Smash cut to-
laughs.
Smash cut to the first one is a smash cut to White, and then Severance Payback. And Miffy's is.
All right. Well,
Woo!
players,
Wow.
it sounded like you were infiltrating this group in order to learn what they were about. And now you may
Game
have
about
decided that you like them actually, and you're
Is
going
this-
to assist them. Is that
Is
the
this
correct
how
read?
easily people get radicalized?
I think it might be, because it feels
It
like
is.
you guys got
get it
radicalized in
now.
like about 25 minutes. So,
Yeah.
granted, I don't know, Miffy might have a predisposition to being radical. Just like like
I
Miffy
feel
might
like
already.
Miffy's a radicalizer.
That's true.
I think we might have made Otis's plan a little bit more extreme.
Yeah.
A little more what?
More
Extreme.
I mean,
Is
yes.
it extreme?
Well,
Well, he wants to
More
be
than
like
what
the
they were
ruler
going
now.
to do.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he's
like,
always wanted to be now, but now he admits it.
yeah, he always kind of wanted to be, but now it is a central portion of the plan instead of
good
incidental. So you know.
Hmm.
Listen, I just think it's actually smarter than just like, we gotta defend ourselves. Like, okay, who's gonna lead you? This guy? He's eventually going to become ruler anyway, if his plan succeeds.
Also, we're not really sure how much of the burning stuff playing was his idea. So we might just put an arsonist in the seat of power. So
I mean, we are doing that.
It wouldn't be the first time. Let's look at the history of this town.
So true.
I don't know.
This town does not have the. I mean, sometimes it has a veneer of, normalcy of non-criminal activity, but yeah, we're in the shade. It's a shady place, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll pick up here next time with the plan where you guys will have to decide where are you most likely to cause the panic you want. Where do you want to plant this false flag? So
Yeah. I have my idea already, but I'll save it for later.
yeah, we'll come back to it next time.
I will say, for an arsonist leader, if they keep burning stuff down, that just means there's going to be a booming construction industry here.
That's true. Booming
Open
construction.
creates jobs.
Yeah. And we won't talk about it more here, but yeah, this guy's a little extreme. You made him a little bit extremer, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. So we'll
He
find-
might have already been predisposed to extremism, so who really knows?
Yeah.
I mean, he made Fight Club, so.
Yeah.
I think we actually literally are doing Fight Club right now.
We are literally doing Fight Club. Yes, yes, I 100%.
There
You're
are
right, this
voices
is
in people's heads.
Yeah, apparently.
There's voices in people's heads. There's fighting. And there's a bunch of woodland critters running around, exactly like how I remember Fight Club.
And there is that scene with the dog, so.
All right. Well, that's it for us tonight here at the Liminal Branch Library. Go check out Radio Bone Air, which is where Hambone's at. Imasha 26, which is where Imasha's at. And come
It's
back.
not linked in the title, so
I forgot to put it in the title today. No.
I can't
that's
shout
on me.
out two people consecutively, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, people know me. If they know me, they know me. But please go follow Masha. Masha's also really good.
Yeah.
I'll just type it in the names, and then Masha, is yours 26?
Yes,
the
Masha
underscore
26.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Do either of you have anything upcoming that you want to plug before we shut down for the night?
Just
Not
my
today.
usual. Just if you want to follow Know When I Go Live, you can follow me on there on Blue Sky, and I'm Tumblr at Radio Bone Air. Yeah, this was a fun session.
Yay. And all right, well, in that case, I'll shut down the library for now, and the library will be opening again on Monday for an art stream.
Ooh.
All right, get out.
Yep, all right, everyone
Oh, no.
leave.
Everyone go.
Goodbye. Get out.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Please run.